Hey there, Contractor Cat here with Overseas Contractor Academy, and today we got something special for you. The importance of learning to be flexible in the world of contracting. So as many people know, if you've been reading anything about on my blog or been tuning into the videos here, looked at our Facebook, I've been waiting a long time for my clearance to get updated, and I've been waiting to go to Bagram in Afghanistan. Well, that has changed. And so it kind of illustrated the point for today's video, which is stay flexible, because it doesn't always work out the way you think it's going to be. So that's going to be our main point today. Come back in 12. Right now, I am coming to you from my apartment in the Philippines. If you've ever wondered, why is it that I started on a gray screen, then I went to a green screen, background with the desert, then you went back to a gray screen, now I'm with fancy art that someone with no ear or maybe no hand painted, I don't know. It's because I change locations a lot, and I talk about that in the contractor lifestyle video. You do tend to work hard, play hard, move everywhere you want to go in the world, party wherever you want to party. And so now I am filming from my apartment in the Philippines. And so this has come up because I am now due to go to work soon. I've been waiting for quite a while on going to Bagram. Luckily, I had the savings from working as a contractor and having a six-figure income that was tax-free. I've had the savings to just kind of chill out and party wherever I wanted. So I was in Thailand at first, then I was in Cambodia, and now I'm in the Philippines. So I just basically live in places where it's cheap, there's good food, there's good culture, beer is cold, beaches are nice, that kind of thing. And so I'm now in the Philippines, and I've gotten word that I'm not going to Bagram. The opening that has come up is in Kuwait, but your clearance is updated, it's good to go. We'd like you to go ahead and start in Kuwait City, and one of our bases in Kuwait, and you would live in Kuwait City. And I kind of had to weigh that against, well, this isn't what I was told, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, this isn't how I had planned things. And so basically, this brings up a very valid point that I want to cover, and I want, if I could instill anything in my viewers, it's this. You have got to be flexible, especially when you're looking to get back on the horse, getting back into the job, getting back into theater. You cannot be so fixated on, but you said it was this, or but I thought it was going to be that. Okay, so the first point is basically when you're first trying to get overseas and you're first trying to get that overseas job, you really need to be flexible on where you'll go, because everything does hinge on getting that first experience. That's what the companies want to be able to see. Hey, this guy has worked overseas before, he completed a year contract successfully, the government was happy with him, and he was happy doing it, so he knows what he's getting into. So that's really important, is when you are first trying to get your foot in the door, try not to be overly picky and super specific about exactly where you'll go and what you'll do. Try to be flexible, because believe me, when you are in theater, whatever the rule is today and whatever the way the things you're doing are done, that could all change the very next day. And it could change because the government changes its rules, your company changes its rules, the contract changes. There's stuff that is always changing. The mission is always changing, and so you've really got to be flexible for that. And especially when you're first coming in the door, you've got to be willing to accept wherever that position might be. You know, whatever that first chance is, believe me, take that chance. Jump on that opportunity. Okay, so the next point I want to make is about staying flexible with regards to the actual base that you're working on, if you're working on a base. So with me it happened, and with other people, with friends of mine, it has happened where you show up in country, you've been told you're going to be working on base X, and guess what? someone's made a decision somewhere between the time where you got hired and when you showed up, we'd rather have you on base Y. And so sometimes that's going to work out to where you really like that assignment, and sometimes it might not be that you like that assignment. So you've got to be flexible when it comes to, remember, this is a six-figure, tax-free, expense-free job. So there's a huge benefit to just toughing it out, being flexible, and kind of see how things are. Don't get a lot of preconceived ideas of, that's a smaller base, I don't want to go there, or that's a big base, I don't want to go there, because there's going to be a bunch of colonels running around making decisions and making life crazy. Just relax, roll with it, give it a try, be flexible, and just keep it in mind, like, what is the reason you're there? The reason is to pile up that loot and then go party somewhere like, the Philippines or Thailand or wherever you feel like going and doing, or paying off the house or putting the kids' money aside for college. Whatever your motivation for being over there is, keep that in mind. And don't have a bunch of expectations with regards to the actual location. So when I was first hired on my very first job back in 2007, I was told literally for a month, dude, you're going to Baghdad. You're going to be working in Baghdad. You're going to Baghdad. Well, I went to Baghdad all right. 3 days, and then I was sent straight up to Mosul. And yeah, it was like going from a warm summer day in Florida to being inside the bonfire. I mean, Mosul was a pretty tough assignment, as I've done a video about before. But that 6 months paved the way for me to go and get other contract jobs, because of course I didn't give up that one until I had another one. So Mosul was definitely way worse than Baghdad, but I went there, I did my job, and sure enough, through working, I was able to network and make some connections and basically get a better job in a better place. So that is another possibility. So basically be flexible when it comes to the base that you're at, because as I said, the mission changes, things change, decisions change. And so you could show up thinking you're going to work in one place and they send you to a different base. Buddy of mine had a crappy assignment in Afghanistan, and then he got moved over to Jalalabad, which is a quiet base that not a whole lot was happening at. But that was his job, and so it was peaceful, it was quiet, there was barely any income and fire at all. So it was a great location, so that can work out better when they want to move you from base to base. Okay, so Contractor Kev's direct experience seeing a negative consequence of someone not being flexible with regards to assignment. I was in Baghdad, as many people know, from about 2009 to 2011-ish when we did the pullout.
Hey, my pullout gang strong. My pullout gang strong.
I said pullout. But basically, in that time, I knew of a female that they needed her to go work at a separate location. It was on a smaller base within the confines of Baghdad, but it was not the main base that we were all at, with all the colonels and the generals and all that. And she had made a boyfriend recently. And so she'd been seeing this guy on base, another contractor, on our same contract in fact. But she was seeing this guy and she did not want to leave that base. And so she put up a fight saying, my contract says I'm going to work in Baghdad, I'm not obligated to work anywhere else. And that might have been true for one line of her contract, but it also further later down the road, down the page in the contract, it says other assignments as required and other locations are possible. So yeah, you do kind of have to go where the mission says you're needed, or else the government's going to go, what's the point of you being somewhere I don't need you? So of course she lost her job. And so don't be that way. Don't be inflexible. Don't get really attached to wherever you're at, because as I said, things are always changing. And for her, she lost $170,000 a year job over the fact that she'd had a boyfriend for a month and she didn't want to change locations. So, I think most people can realize that is not the way to do things. Don't think, oh, I've got my favorite gym here, I'm not going to switch if they ask me to change. Or, oh, I've got my room just the way I like it now. Dude, just got to roll with it, man. The point of you being there is piling up the money. It's not being comfortable. It's not having a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever it is. The point is to earn. earn so that you basically create the freedom in your life that you want to have, to do whatever it is you want to do. Pay off the houses, have a Porsche, pay off the kids' tuition, whatever it is you want to do. That's the reason you're there. It is not because you've got the gym that you like, or the office, my desk is now perfect. No. Don't latch on to any of that. Just stay flexible, roll with the punches. If they need you to go work somewhere else, give it a try for a while. Okay, and so my last point, when it comes to being flexible, everything's up for change. It always is. And for me, I was looking at a certain pay level to go to a certain place, which was Bagram in Afghanistan. And I had already interviewed, negotiated the pay, all the things I teach you to do on the course, used my own little trick. Sure enough, it put another $5,000 on there that I was going to earn. So you've definitely, in the course, I teach that trick of exactly what to say, when to say it. And when you do, I'm telling you, that course can pay for itself, because you watch money get added to the contract value. But I did all that, negotiated all that, and then they hit me with out of the blue, oh, we kind of want you to go to Kuwait. And because you're going to Kuwait, you're not on a base, your lifestyle is going to be different because you're actually going to be living in an apartment in the city, and you're not going to get the danger pay that you were expecting. So it's a new pay level, it's a new living condition, new working conditions. Everything's basically changed. And so that is what's happened with me personally. Work-wise, this is what's been going on, is I have now changed from going to Afghanistan in Bagram, which is the headquarters, the flagpole, to now going to be working in Kuwait on a base. So all that to illustrate, everything can change, even after you've negotiated it, even when you've worked it all out and you think, okay, I'm just waiting now for basically the gun to go off, so I'm down in the racing blocks and ready to start this thing. It can still change. So for me, it's changed in the way that now I'm going to go to Kuwait. That seems like a 95% certainty. And when I do, I'm going to be living in an apartment. So hopefully in the future, we'll be making some videos about the living and working conditions in Kuwait, with actual videos from my living conditions there and my working conditions, and basically what it's like there. So that might be a pretty cool opportunity for a video in the future. But basically, this is Contractor Kev illustrating through his life in real time that, hey, crap's going to change, man, and you've got to be able to roll with those changes and take advantage of the opportunities when they come your way. You can even agree to everything, but then things change. And so you've got to take advantage basically by remembering what it is you're there for, which is the six-figure income, which is what goals is that going to allow you to reach in your life. And so the particulars of how you reach that goal, keep flexible on that, but keep the goal in mind. Don't worry about your comfort, or you said this or you said that. Some people are very resistant to change, like my own brother and my father as well. They're the types where if you tell them things are going to be one way, even if all the other conditions can change, they still want it to be that way. And that's really the exact wrong kind of mindset you need to have in the contractor world. In the contractor world, everything's always changing and flexible and renegotiated, and new rule this and new conditions that, because conditions are always changing on the ground and the government's mission is always changing. So you've got to keep in mind that everything can always change. Okay, so that's it for today. Please, if you liked what I had to say, if you like our channel, subscribe. If you like our videos, please give us the thumbs up. And of course, as always, if you will share some of our videos on your Facebook or your social media, we're on Twitter, YouTube, obviously Instagram, Pinterest, blah, 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 blah. If you'll share some of our videos, I will come to your house personally and give you a warm hug and say thanks. Until then, roll up your sleeves and get your ass to work overseas. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.